Our goal as portrait photographers is to serve our clients and help them look their best. And most of the time, that means using soft, loop lighting and maybe adding a little bit of fill. And this high-key lighting is right for most people, but it isn't right for everyone. What if your client is celebrating a fitness transformation, or just a moment when they feel really proud of their body? If you reach for that same flat lighting style every time, there's a good chance that you're actually ruining their photos. In today's video, I'll walk you through 3 different approaches to lighting a physique, starting with 1 light, then 2 lights, and finally an advanced 4-light setup. We'll break down why high-key lighting often fails when it comes to showing muscle tone, and how low-key lighting can make those muscles pop. So our model today, Jaime, spends a lot of time in the gym, and he's really proud of what he's achieved. Let me start off by showing you what his body looks like with high-key lighting. I placed a large octabox directly in front of the set. Sure, you can still see definition because his physique is incredible, but we can do a lot better. Let's start with the simplest look. A single light from overhead. I used a 1x3 foot or 35 by 100 centimeter strip softbox boomed directly above Jaime. My goal here was to get the light as high as I could in the studio so that I could reduce the fall off in the shot from the top down. Now, the inverse square law states that the closer you are to the light source, the more rapid it falls off, basically. I've got a whole video about it if you want to check that out. But in order for us to get more even coverage from the top to the bottom, I needed to get that light as far away as I could get it. We spent a good amount of time refining Jaime's pose and adjusting the light to better show off his abs. I struggled to get the light just right during the shoot, and only later, when I was actually looking at this video in order to edit it for you, did I realize that his left hand was actually or likely casting a shadow across his body, and that was really the problem that I was having, and I could have got the look that I was going for a lot faster if I realized that. So that's something you should look out for so that you don't make the same mistake.
Point that index finger over a little. 1, 2, 3.
Now, if you don't have a boom like the Studio Titan large double beam boom that I'm using, or the ability to get the light really far away because maybe you have a low ceiling, then you might consider bouncing the light off of the ceiling as a workaround. You won't get quite the same look, but it can help give you that soft top-down sculpted sort of lighting. I don't actually have a white ceiling in my studio, so I placed some white foam boards up there next to the ceiling and then bounced my light off of them when I was photographing Valerian and Shaq. It's not really identical to having a strip softbox out there over the set, but it is a nice compromise if you're working in a tight space. For the second look, I switched to a 2-light setup, 1 large strip softbox on either side of Jaime. This approach is all about edge sculpting. The lights are helping to carve out the muscles and give his frame depth. The definition in his arms, chest, and shoulders is by no accident. This type of lighting introduces shadows where you need it, and that shadow is what helps us show dimension. You could get away with alternative modifiers, but they might light up more of the body than you intend, and they might unevenly light them top to bottom. So if you're using a large umbrella, it might come around a little bit more. And if you're using a small reflector, it might be really isolated and only be like bright on the elbow and then sort of fall off near the head. So using strip softboxes are probably ideal for this look, but what's more important is that you go out there with the gear that you have, practice, and get the work done. One really good way to practice would be to buy one of my lighting handbooks and try out one of the more than 20 looks that is featured in each one of them. You'll be able to see where each one of the lights are placed, how they relate to one another, and get tons of tips along the way so that you can create these really cool looks. You can find them at johngress.com/downloads. Now for the final look, a 4-light setup using grid reflectors. I started with every light metering at f8, which matched my camera's settings. From there, I adjusted each light to taste. The hair light didn't have a grid, but I did use 30-degree grids on all the other lights, which kept the light from hitting the floor and the ceilings and then bouncing back into the shadows. I always intended for this to be a black and white look, so I applied a monochrome style in Capture One, which is similar to my Lightroom presets, and I'll link to those down below if you want to check it out. I find that it's really good to monitor in black and white while you're tethering, just to make sure that you've got all the lights balanced and that it's going to look good with your final preset or style if you're using Capture One. Eventually, I ended up swapping out the 30-degree grid on the main light for a 12-degree grid. Now, most brands of grids have 10-degree grids that'll give you the same look. To tighten the beam even further, I added barn doors to cut the light into a little sliver, just enough for me to light Jaime's face while leaving everything else in darkness. This final image is actually a composite. I chose one frame where the light sculpted his torso exactly the way that I wanted it, with a shadow running from his chest all the way down to his belly button. Later, I captured a separate moment where his eyes and face and expression looked perfect. Now, this was really more about his performance in the moment, and the light didn't change between the two looks, and I was using my camera stand in roughly the same perspective, so it was really easy to do that little head swap in post. If I had to do it all over again, I'd probably move the key light a little further in front of the set to avoid lighting his arms, and you can kind of see what that looks like here in Satellite 3D. At the end of the day, lighting is never one size fits all. Those high-key setups can be beautiful when you're shooting a business portrait and you want to minimize wrinkles and really flatter most faces. But if your subject comes into the studio because they want to show off their fitness journey, then you owe it to them to use the right light. And that's why low-key lighting is most likely going to be your friend during those shoots. You'll get defined shadows, you'll get shape, you'll create a story, and you'll show off their muscles. Now, if you're ready to take your lighting even further, check out this video over here where I go over the 5 lighting mistakes that every photographer should avoid. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. And while you're down there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the bell. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.